Abundance is a very large quantity of something.
God. Allah. God. Allah. Abundance. 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 Look, understand, ain't no stopping me. I'm about to buy another property, like I'm addicted to Monopoly. There's no freedom in democracy. You know my poems be like prophecy. You switch sides, that don't bother me. I'm taking yoga classes, I'm breathing properly. I use my blessings for equity and equality. I'm too self-aware, give a fuck if you acknowledge me. Black Moors and black Jews, you're speaking my language. God knowledge is the law, what I speak is contagious. Black men like myself, what you see is in danger. But we chosen like we Moses, we sing with them angels. Abundance. 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 God. Allah. God. Allah. Abundance. 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 Look, understand, ain't no stopping me. I got myself up out of poverty. That education was a robbery. Joseph Fuquan, the anomaly, who transmute the truth when they lie to me. Poor people, victims of the economy, who bought idolatry from Dollar Tree. There's only one source, all else is idolatry. And that's this life force that is guiding me. Black Moors and black Jews, you're speaking my language. God knowledge is the law, what I speak is contagious. Black men like myself, what you see is in danger. But we chosen like we Joseph, we sing with them angels. Abundance. 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 God.
I will live in abundance. I will give from abundance. I will love with abundance. I will not run from abundance.
That was Abundance by Duke, now available on Spotify. Duke not only is a poet and a musician, but he's changed urban education. He's been really involved in the Newark school district. Duke is a poet, a thinker, a philosopher, a man that breathes deep breaths and thinks and makes music and makes the world a more beautiful place. Hey, welcome to Dip and Chill, baby. A casual conversation with professional artists. I'm your host, Sid Williams. Thank you so much for being here. I would love to talk about your practice and how you got to where you are and how your words really support your story and your journey and your art.
Thanks, Sid.
You're from Newark, New Jersey.
Yeah, I'm from Newark, born and raised, did a lot of work in education, but I've always wrote, even as a child, because I just felt like it was an easy escape from my surroundings. Not necessarily an escape, but like, it's just easy to go within. And like sometimes, words fall short. There's always communication gaps and barriers. So like I just started to write. And I, when I was younger, I just thought that, people wouldn't understand. So I never really read the poetry. I never read any of my writings. And then one day I just kind of like went to an open mic and I did a poem and I was like, wow, people actually like the shit that I write. The things that I try to hold on to, people actually like relate to and resonate with. So that encouraged me because some people feel like the greatest gift to a person is to like motivate them. I feel like the greatest gift is to inspire. If my words and, like my poetry can inspire, then, I think that's just the path that I need to be on. So it turned me into a poet, I guess.
Yeah. Through necessity, you found your art.
Yeah.
I don't know really any of your work, and I was curious. I'm a huge novice when it comes to poetry. I know like haiku and acrostic or whatever.
There's really no style. I guess the style is from the heart. I mean, I know like there are like technical styles and things that's you go to school for, and it's just from the heart poetry, to be honest. And if people feel it, they feel it. And it just so happens that they feel it. And I also like to think that it's my own style. It's like, what's your style? It's from the heart. I own that. You know what I mean? I hate, not that I hate, but it's just hard for me to just try to like fit my passions, my love, my inspiration into a box for it to be a style. Like that just takes away from me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like you got to hear it, Ian. Like, you know, it's the kind of style you just got to hear, you got to experience, you got to witness it. You got, you know what I mean? You got to
flow. It's very wiggly, Ian.
I'm going to what I will do is when I restart my Instagram, I'm going to follow you and I'm going to say, "Hey, Ian, here's my work." Is that cool?
That's totally acceptable.
So just maybe Sid, or, you know, just text me his at name. And Ian, that's my word, you know what I mean? So you can see it and you can be like, all right, you know, I like it, or, you know, I don't like it, but I think you like it.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
I'm into it. I really, I guess words are the last medium. I've always like struggled with words, I guess. But the more I get older, the more I have an appreciation for describing something as simply as or as complex as possible. And it's just, it's sick. That's all I have to say. I'm looking forward to one day seeing your Instagram page.
Is your freeform dreadlocks video on YouTube?
So the song is, but what it is it's an interview with women of color who has locks, and they talked about their lock journey. But yeah, absolutely, it's on YouTube too.
Yeah, I mean, it's something. It's some part of your work.
Yeah, definitely, Ian. And there's it's this record called "We Are Love" that I kind of like, that was inspired when I drove across country. Not fully. We stopped in like Colorado, but we took it from like Jersey to Colorado. And, you know, it was like stopping in Nebraska. This was like right around the time Trump was elected. And it was like a whole, like, you know, his pitch of Make America Great. So what I did was myself and my lover at the time, I love women. We drove across and like we stopped in Nebraska, I believe, and like Iowa and some of these other states. And, you know, just kind of check the pulse of everything. And like I came up with like this "We Are Love" vibration, and it was really strong, you know what I mean? And like it was really good. It's been on YouTube for a year. It got some views. You'll like it. Take a look at it. And it's like I shot the video in like Jamaica, you know, and it's really good. Like, you know, listen to it, you know. I think you'll like it.
I'll definitely check that out for sure.
So you went to school for education. Did you study any formalized poetry? Did you have any mentors or influences?
No, none of that. I've read a lot of writers, not necessarily like poets, even though like I feel like certain philosophers and thinkers are poets in their own right.
Totally.
I feel like a lot of great writers I used to be like, I don't have such a grasp on the English language like James Baldwin, you know what I mean? But like I like the creativity of Kerouac and like Ginsberg, like, you know what I mean? Like you can just let it go. And I found beauty in that, but I did not formally study any writing classes or anything like that. It's just people, you know, it's just from the heart. It works. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It totally works. Yeah. I've seen you read, and it's been, you know, you like transform into your words, which is an amazing thing visually to see and hear. It's nice. The Beat Generation was a lot looser with vocabulary. Do you ever feel limited by using words?
Yeah, yes, for sure. You know, for sure. But I mean, that's all we have really for the most part. I mean, that's my tool. Words are my tool. So even though sometimes I do feel limited, like, you know, I use them. I also feel limited by like reading others and looking at others because it's still competitive. It's hard. Like you go up and perform a poem and no one reacts, you know, like, I don't know. I just feel like I feel limited by reading others. Sometimes I feel limited by words. I feel limited by social media. Like if I could, I would just be away and just write whatever, you know?
Yeah, write in a free-formed, flowing state.
Yeah, just whatever comes and yeah.
Just because maybe school wasn't in your past or path, and formalized influences weren't. I know you listen to a ton of hip hop, and a ton of rap, and I do think there's a correlation between your writing and hip hop?
Yes. Oh, yes, for sure. Like, somebody like Tupac is somebody I love and look up to, and like he might have not been the greatest lyricist, but like, you know, I remember just meeting people on the road, and I met this one young woman. She was Jewish, but she was like born in Germany and everything, and she was like, I love Tupac, and like to just know that someone like him, he's not the greatest lyricist, but like his music can touch people anywhere. I like Common, Lupe Fiasco, who of course I listen to A Tribe Called Quest, Mos Def, Black Thought. You know, it's just, I love music, you know what I mean? Like, you know, and like hip hop, I mean, you got certain rappers and hip hop artists who paint a certain picture of the environment in which that I grew up in. That's not like, it's not always that, and you don't glorify that. Then you have artists who actually transform and transmute that energy into something like If I Ruled the World, you know what I mean? And like,
yeah, totally.
You know what I mean? So like, definitely. Also like the Bob Marleys of the world. I love Amy Winehouse. I love music. I love from Coltrane to David to Miles to just, I just love music. You know what I mean? And I love putting words to music, because music doesn't necessarily need words, as we know, but when you can put words to them and like touch people, it's just beautiful for me.
It's like a pulse that speaks. I always think like your body is a heartbeat. That's your natural music. Like, what are you going to say to your beat, you know? And a lot of poetry is just tapping out of like even melody and just going right into beat, going right from the heart, which I appreciate. I appreciate hanging out with poets, especially painters, you know, that's a thing. You know, I always felt very limited by words and very jealous, not maybe jealous, but inspired and just profoundly like shocked how people can use words and think about something that exists and change it completely. For me, like I work in shapes and colors because like words are fucking heavy.
Yeah.
So, you know, like it's a lot. There's a lot that comes into it. Like why was the word used, started, began with, and then like how has it evolved? And to craft something from such history is a very challenging task. Do you think it's important for all types of artists to be in a conversation together? Like poets and painters and sculptors and musicians?
Yeah, that's dope. Like, I think it's like, fuck yeah, like hell yeah, like most definitely. Like, I am amazed at painters. You know, like when on ayahuasca, you see sounds and you hear colors and, but like to do that in this real world, like to sculpt something and to like, no, like you're a genius, like a poet, like no, like, you know what I mean?
No, they're not like that. That doesn't work like that.
Well, meaning for me, how I just, that's how much I like compare it to myself, like how I view like my art, like as a poet, like a writer, like I bow to the painters, I bow to the sculptures, out of respect, you know what I mean? Like that's just something that's just, I'm able to recognize that's not, I feel
it's the same way I feel about poets because I can't do it.
Right.
So I'm just like, the fuck? How does this work?
For me, it's like, hey, like let's all gather up, you know, and we're all in the same space and like use that energy to just go crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because Like statues, they last forever, just like the words in a great poem, right? Like If lasts forever. Like you're gonna always be inspired by If. You're always gonna be inspired by Warhol. Like these things are forever, and I'm just amazed by it. I just want to play my role in it. You know what I mean? As a writer and as a poet, I just want to play my role in it. But like, I marvel at other artists. Yeah. Yes, for sure.
Okay, cool. Some people are just like, no, they should stick to their group so their craft can grow. I'm like, okay.
I mean, I get that as well, but like, no. Like, like come together. Come on.
Do you think more people are maybe talking to themselves because they have a platform, or do you think this access and platform has given people a voice that normally wouldn't?
Yeah, I think social media gives everyone a voice and it brings out everyone's art, right? You know, which is a good thing. It's just so many different perspectives, and like social media also, because it's so quick and you can like have a feeling and upload it immediately, it gives no time to actually sit with feelings and emotions for the most part. But it definitely has, you know, inspired other artists. I do feel like people are, they're not really talking to themselves, because there's always, you know, you can go on social media now and go on live and like someone's gonna watch, you know what I mean? There's always an audience, and like it's like this infinite galaxy. Like if you upload something, it can just you know, like it can just rival, it can spiral, like, or it could not, but like it's a chance that it could. So, you know, it turns everyone into like artists. It's just, for me, you know, like I've just deleted my account, you know, again, and like it's just it gets kind of crowded, and it gets hard to think, you know. It's so much information.
It's very cloudy and muddy, and
it's
a lot of different ways to see people,
right?
Especially in a way that like you learn to see them through your perspective and not through their essence. I've chatted with some people that make visual media, and they say that like it takes the energetic experience out of a painting or out of a drawing, and maybe like a little bit even out of a performance. Like, I'm very grateful for this access, but it's more of my experience viewing an object versus like my experience blending with an essence. And I think social media really has gone that direction. Like, but also I think it's an amazing tool.
Right.
It's not the end all be all. It's just a tool.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. Like it's a gift and a curse, right? Like as a artist, and you know, your paintings can go up, and it's just like it allows the exposure. Then before you know it, somebody could click a link in bio and buy your painting. So like it allows all of that, which is great. But then there's also the side of it when you're just like, whoa, this is a lot, and it just feels like, you know, sometimes logging on or going in is just like, it's like an overcrowded party. It's like, whoa, you know, and if it's as a poet, and, you know, as a writer, you know, you need certain experiences. You get inspired, and it's kind of tough to get inspired when you don't even have time to think and process and understand how you feel about whatever is going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, moving a bit slower, just having time to process and not be like oversaturated.
Right.
You know, I've been doing some of these podcasts, so I've been having more of these conversations with different people, and it is like, I had, from a conversation, it had sparked the idea that like we are really the first generation to have access to information all the time from everywhere. And it like really, really warps our sense of time and our ability to process. Like, artists in the past, they were receiving a daily newspaper, and maybe that's it, a monthly magazine, a program once a week. Like, it was really not this complete and total clusterfuck.
Right.
And it really is our job now to like deduce. With the art world having limited space, physical space, people moving out of cities, where do you think the art world is going? Do artists have more freedom to move around?
Yeah, I definitely believe artists have more freedom to move around, and I feel like artists now becoming like wherever the artist is, you know, and wherever the artists are. So it's like, you know, you can be from home. You know, I can say a poem right now. It could be really good. Everyone uploads it. I upload it, put it on Instagram, it goes viral. I'm in Newark right now, you know what I mean? And there's opportunities that can just come to me. Companies can reach out to me, so I don't have to necessarily be in a location. I think it does help to be in a location when you can go outside or you can link up easily with other artists, get inspiration that way. But overall, I feel like the whole big city notion, I don't know, like, you know, that might not be the same again, you know, the small cities, the small towns. And I also think that every city is now realizing that they have their own art scene. It's
funny because that idea is very shaped depending on where you're from. Like, you grew up in Newark, and really, like, we've had this chat our first trip to Vermont. Do you remember us in the backseat just being like, oh, these kids can't get to fucking cities. And you're like, I can't get here. Right. You know, like, totally depending where you live is like how you think about access to, I guess, what you need.
Like with the pandemic going on, especially hitting like New York City, a lot of the people that I knew who stayed and lived in New York City went elsewhere. And I think that kind of, like when I look at like stats and data, it's like people are purchasing homes in like more space now. So I'm thinking that, you know, that'll affect where and how art is, because people will want space. So you don't really need to be in the mix as much.
Do you think that's a dangerous thing? like artists seeking isolation in space? Because like so many, I don't know, I've never had this conversation before, and this is just a thought that's coming to me now. But do you think that the energy of many artists together in a place is more beneficial than like seeking space?
I think it's a mix. As artists, we do need to be together and come together and building that energy. But like also as a writer and a poet, like I do know that I need silence and isolation to be able to dive into how I'm feeling and what I'm feeling. I do think that it's a mixture of both. I know earlier I was like, we do need to come together, and I firmly believe that. And that's my duality. So I have the right to say, hey, we need to come together, but we also need isolation and space.
Yeah, we need cycles. So how do you think COVID-19 has changed your art making practice and the view of the art world moving forward?
Damn, that's a great question. For me, it increased my desire to just be out more, honestly. Like from being forced, like, locked down and not being able to move. I would think that I would be more productive because I would have time at home and then time to do this. And then I was like, nah, this isn't me. Like, I actually need to be out and be on the road to like kind of gather and then go in isolation. You can't you can't just put me in isolation. Like, that'll drive me crazy. Like, I need to have experiences, come back and create. Have experiences, come back and create. Like, I like to go to the movies, matinees on Saturdays and Sundays. That's one of the big things that like inspire me, and I just couldn't do that. And as much as I try to watch, like I watch Pan's, what is it, Labyrinth or whatever. I watched that the other day to get some inspiration. But it's just not the same.
Pan's Labyrinth?
Yeah, Pan's Labyrinth. So it's not the same as.
Crazy.
I've really realized like I fell in love with like the process of things. Like nobody's really there on a small movie theater in Montclair. No, like nobody's really there on a Saturday morning. So like I get to watch it and I get to smoke a little pot and then watch the movie. You know what I mean? Now I'm just like, and I get inspired to just write something. But like when you're just in a house all day, like you would think so, but like, you're like, nah.
No, it's super hard to focus. That's why my project was birthed from like, I need busy work. So like, I was like, I didn't have the emotional or like headspace to come up with things that even inspired me. So I was just like, I'm going to ask everyone I know, like, what is getting you through this time? And the doodles I am doodling are at least, they're for me like a meditative thing. I'm not forcing anything more of myself. So I had no well either. So I think that's like exactly how it is. It's like when you're forced into something suddenly without the anticipation or expectation of anything, you have to get your bearings back.
Yeah.
Sid, could I ask a question?
Yeah, totally.
I'm just curious, were you inspired by something in a movie that led to something that you're like particularly proud of?
Damn, that's a great question. Gosh.
Yes, I don't have to answer it right now. Like, you can come back to it.
Okay, yeah. I need some time to think. I want to say I seen The Lobster when it came out in theaters, and it didn't necessarily like make me go write, but what it did was it pushed my writing because I'm not sure if you ever saw that, but that movie is so
I've
different.
Seen it.
You know what I mean? And like even The Killing of Sacred Deer, which is like, I think it's the same.
I believe it's the same director. I haven't seen that one though.
Yorgos Lanthimos also directed The Favorite.
So like it doesn't live in the writing, but it lives in the thinking that led to the writing. You know what I mean? It pushed the thing like, oh, I can write about this topic, or I can take it this far because this isn't something like, you go into the movies, this isn't like your typical movie. This is like, this place is empty. It's only like 3 or 4 people in here. Like it's not a big crowd. And like for them to take that movie and like, I think what it was like, pick the animal that you want to be when it just pushed me, it just pushed my thinking, and that pushes my writing. If that answers, you know what I mean? If that makes sense.
It totally makes sense.
Yeah. Those types of movies just inspire my thinking, which, pushes the writing. You know what I mean? It's like because sometimes you'd be like, whoa, I don't want to kind of touch on this topic, or like I don't want to take it there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like sometimes and it's, I don't think it's putting limits. It's just like being real. Like I've learned in life, like you got to ease things along. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like for them to just push it and just be like, wow, I'm like, yo, I can incorporate that in my art.
Yeah, take more risks. Where are you taking me?
I gotta get my charger.
Oh. We're going on a journey. All right, well, guys, I don't really have anything else to say. Do you want to plug any poetry? Do you want to read anything? Do you want to?
Damn, I don't. No, not too much. I have been trying to finish a poetry book. It's just one of the hardest things that I've ever done because it's like, how do you fit? Like, it's you today you could create something. You know what I mean? So it's like, how do you take a hard stance, a firm stance, and say, you know what, this is done. But
if you want, I would love to read it and see how, you know.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I'll definitely share with you.
Yeah. I read Rashad's book before it.
Yeah.
Rashad Wright, all the way back in episode 1. Check him out. I have his first annotated copy of his first book, a book of memoirs, and he self-published it. You should self-publish it, but also, like, Amazon kind of sucks. It's kind of a catch-22, so.
I know, yeah. I'm gonna reach out to him because I read. I got this book, like, what is it, like poets? You know, those workshop book, like they tell you how to do it and everything. I think that's what I've been going back and forth with. Like, do I self-publish or do like I find like a literary agent and just like hound them and like. You know, that's part of it too. You know what I mean? Because in my world, it's like, listen, I just want to just create it and just put it out there, but I also want to do it right.
Totally.
So.
Yeah, talk to Rashad. I know he's making like some money a month, which is nice. I mean, at least somebody's buying a book a month, which I don't really know how book sales work, but I think he's doing well.
He's dope, so like, he'll be successful.
I hope, well, everyone, like, I think all my friends are going to be successful. So I have no doubt about that. I am in the camp of we all rise together, and you know that. We've been saying that since, I don't even know how many years ago we met, but years of just like, yeah, we're going to change shit, and then we're going to change shit, you know? Like, not only just for ourselves, but for the next generation. Your bond with education's not over, even if you leave it for a bit.
Right, yeah, because
I taught for 1 year, and I was just like, lots of opinions, like lots of like things.
Yeah.
Especially when you teach in some creative fashion and you need space to grow. So I guess that's a wrap. Thank you, Duke. I appreciate you. Do you have a website?
Yeah, it's XVIIDUKE.com. So it's 17duke.com.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sid.
And I guess that is that. I'm Sid Williams. This is Tip and Dell. I have Duke. Check out his website. Thanks, Ian, for the sound.
You're welcome.
I think we're all going to have a really fucking good weekend. That's all I got to say about that.
Nice chatting with you, Sid. Ian, nice
to
you too,
Thank you so much.
It was a real
appreciate
pleasure.
It.
It was a real pleasure.
Definitely take a look, and hopefully, we can keep in touch and everything like that and collab, because Sid is great. Yeah. She has great people. Yeah. Anybody cool with Sid, I know that they're just spectacular. Yeah. So, like, let's stay in touch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Enjoy Texas. Enjoy Portland.
All right, bye, guys. I'm exiting. I'm leaving. Right. Love you all. Bye.
Peace.
Here's Duke with We Are Love.
We are love. We are love. Children, eat your bread. I devoted my life to God, and in my heart is freedom. God gave me my heart. It doesn't only belong to me, still it is a gift. Gifts are gifts. You know, I always thought the gift was in recognizing, being aware of, and then applying the gift. Anyway, if women are seriously interested in me, they should know a few things. I mean, if they want for us to thrive and the relationship to survive. I believe in truth. I believe in God. I believe as below as above, which means that if there are gods in the sky, then there must be gods in the ocean. Watching the sunset and sunrise, you only get every moment one time. We must live against all odds, but you know, we are told that it is impossible to go this far until you realize it's not impossible if you just go. I consider myself to be something like a god of the ocean, of this deep shit in life, meaning I am one with the ocean. I like the space and the freedom to be fluid like water, taking the shape of my women. I am water, this is my beauty. Water brings life, this is my beauty. See how your skin glows after drinking this water, love? See how your body feels, it's like you found somebody real. And now that's deep, too deep for shallow women, too deep for coward women. Some people feel on different levels, get too deep and drown up in them. And I realized that drowning isn't that bad, especially if you're the type that prefers depth. I mean, can water swim? Take a second. Go past my joint. Take a fucking second. You can't tell a raindrop from the rest of the water when they connect, baby. So let's connect, baby. Let's breathe and stretch before sex, baby. Let's practice love making. Let's pray for those that love hatred. I know God is above Satan. Things take time. I am learning to trust patience. Praise God. I need an ashtray. I'm thinking long term, so there are no wrong turns. I see all roads and roses and mirrors of black people and Moses. My nieces will grow to be women. I saw children grow to be children. There's no adult in them, but they're my people though. The victims of a fucked up system, mixed with some fucked up visions and fucked up decisions. I drink Hennessy with them. I made memories with them. Now you listen as I take you on this living spree with them. Support me, because I promise to represent for us truly. I found my higher self. Every part of me has value, therefore I am wealth. I wish you health, and if you are ever in need, I wish you help. More importantly, and above all else, I wish you love. I drove across country, ended up in Nebraska, and what I saw was tragic. I saw poor white people, and yes, I felt sorry because we know that they don't fuck with us because we black, but to their own, they have no mercy. Why say fuck Donald Trump? Because that sounds cool until you realize to get where he at, that nigga ain't no fool. I'ma leave that there and only speak in love and respond with these three words. We are love, we are love, we are love.